Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Q&A. As you can tell, today I'm going to be discussing Aczone, or topical Dapsone for acne. I get many questions about this, and I've been asked to do a Q&A about it. Last week I did an entire Q&A about topical clindamycin for acne, and so I thought this would be a logical next in line since I get several questions about this throughout the course of my videos. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Andrea. I am a dermatologist, and my YouTube channel here is largely fun vlogs of my life with plant-based recipes, a lot of skincare product reviews, skincare routines, and skincare Q&As. So if that type of content is at all of interest to you, then I encourage you to subscribe for more fun. But today I'm going to talk all about Aczone for acne. Aczone is the brand name of topical Dapsone. Dapsone is an antimicrobial agent that has been in existence for a long time. It is both a antibiotic as well as an anti-inflammatory drug. It can be taken orally for a variety of diseases. Most probably notably, I suppose, would be leprosy. But many diseases, particularly in dermatology, are treated with oral Dapsone as well as topical Dapsone. Not only is it antimicrobial, but its anti-inflammatory effects are quite unique. It seems as though it has a key ability to inhibit the migration of some of the inflammatory cells in our body into the skin and into other areas of the body, specifically an inflammatory cell known as a neutrophil. Topical Dapsone at 5% strength, or Aczone, was shown to be effective particularly in women, in adult women and adolescent women with acne. In several large 12-week studies, it was shown to be effective in clearing both what are called the inflammatory lesions of acne, so the red and inflamed painful bumps, as well as the non-inflammatory lesions of acne, so some of your whiteheads and blackheads that aren't red and inflamed and as concerning for scarring, but are still part of the disease and still part of what needs to be treated. So topical Dapsone at 5% strength, applied twice daily, has been shown in several large studies in acne to be very helpful for getting some improvement in those lesions. Then later on, Dapsone 7.5% strength was shown to be effective applied once daily. And things that are applied once daily are a heck of a lot easier to do than applying something twice a day. So that was subsequently approved, and that is what Aczone currently most often is prescribed as for acne. It's the 7.5% strength applied once daily, simply because it is far more convenient and equally effective. It seems to be most effective in women. It's more effective in women than men. Men seem to respond less well to it. So for the most part, it tends to be a helpful agent in treating female acne. And so it's often prescribed for adolescents and adult women with acne, or adult onset acne is where it really seems to shine as a helpful adjuvant treatment. How good is it? Well, oftentimes it's not enough on its own. Other medications are frequently needed in acne, particularly in acne in adult women, rather than a standalone treatment. Sometimes it can be enough on its own. It really just depends on the individual's overall burden of disease and skin lesions. But more often than not, another treatment is needed. I have other videos on hormonal acne and adult acne, talking about spironolactone. So sometimes that is also needed. But Dapsone can be a very helpful, and applied once a day. It offers the advantage of being relatively easy to comply with. Side effects that you can expect: it can, like anything applied to the skin, it can be a little irritating, it can sting, but it tends to be far less irritating and bothersome than, say, topical benzoyl peroxide. It's far easier to tolerate. One of the things that you should know about topical Dapsone, however, is that it should not be applied at the same time as benzoyl peroxide. And the reason for this is that it was shown in the studies that when benzoyl peroxide and Dapsone are applied concomitantly, it can result in staining of the skin that's kind of yellowish to orange color. The staining is not permanent. It's simply the two ingredients, I think they precipitate out together and leave this yellowish discoloration that can stain the skin. It's not permanent, but nobody wants to be stained yellow, and the staining sticks around for a little while. You know, it takes upwards of 8 weeks to go away. So be very careful and make sure you go over all other topicals that you're using with the dermatologist to make sure that there isn't anything in there that might contain benzoyl peroxide. You know, you may be using an acne face wash at home that you don't realize has benzoyl peroxide in it. You may be using another prescription medication that you don't realize has benzoyl peroxide in it. For example, benzamycin or benzaclin are other acne medications that have benzoyl peroxide in them. Epiduo, which is adapalene and benzoyl peroxide together in one cream, has the benzoyl peroxide in it. So if you're at all confused, you know, first of all, you can always look at the active drug name on your prescription and of what you're actually using, or on your acne washes. Just look at the active ingredients, make sure it doesn't contain benzoyl peroxide. Or, you know, you can bring everything into your dermatologist appointment and say, hey, do any of these things have the benzoyl peroxide that could stain my skin? And they can kind of help you navigate that as well if you're at all confused. But you don't want to apply them at the same time. So say, for example, you are using Aczone to the face in the morning and you're using a benzoyl peroxide gel at night. That is fine. Just wash the face of the benzoyl peroxide in the morning before applying the Aczone. Or say, for example, you're using Epiduo, or you're using a combination of different and benzoyl peroxide at night, then you're told to use your 7.5% Aczone or Aczone in the morning. Again, just make sure you wash off that benzoyl peroxide. It still allows the benzoyl peroxide to function, but then removes any of it from the surface of the skin before applying the Aczone. That could then result in the discoloration that you would not like. But it's not something that's dangerous. It's just unwanted. Nobody wants to be stained yellow. So that's probably the most pertinent side effect or thing that you should be aware of can happen that you might not like. But it is quite helpful as an adjuvant treatment in acne. How helpful is it? As I said, for whatever reason, it seems to mostly be helpful for women. We don't understand that. The biology of acne in men and women is very, very different. So for whatever reason that we haven't quite elucidated yet, Aczone really seems to shine in women. And when we break up the women by age categories, adolescents and adult women, it seems that adult women, so women 18 years of age and older, seem to have a better response to Aczone or Aczone than your teenagers. Teenage girls still do quite well with it, but older women, adult women, seem to be the ones who benefit the most from it. So basically those women who tend to be affected by adult onset acne or hormonal acne that flares with menses, those women tend to see the best results with Aczone. Their acne tends to be the one that gets better with it. It's not a miracle treatment. I haven't really seen cases of using Aczone alone where you get like 100% clearance. It's usually somewhere between 30 to 40% improvement in the overall burden of lesions, I would say, if it's used as a standalone treatment correctly. How long until you see results? Usually you can start seeing results as early as 2 weeks. Start seeing optimal results around 4 weeks. And the longer that you're using it, the more likely you are to see continued and ongoing improvement. As far as when you can expect to see results with topical Aczone, there is one interesting study that recently came out that I find very interesting, and I think you will also. That women with adult women with acne, like I said, they tend to be the ones who respond the best. When the researchers looked at the women based on their what's called the Fitzpatrick phototype, so women who or Fitzpatrick phototypes 1 and 2 tend to be very fair, burn very easily, and tend to have the kind of acne that heals with redness. Fitzpatrick type 3 is somewhere kind of right in the middle. And then the 4 and 5 skin types are those who rarely and never burn when they go out in the sun. They tend to get tan very easily, and their acne tends to heal with a dark mark. Many black women, for example, fall into the Fitzpatrick 4 and 5 skin types, and that their acne tends to heal markedly with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation versus redness, whereas those in Fitzpatrick phototypes 1 tend to be of, kind of Irish descent, very fair, and those women tend to not heal as readily with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, but rather redness. And one interesting thing that came out of this study is that women with Fitzpatrick phototypes 1, 2, and 3, so more likely to heal with redness, less on the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation direction of acne, for whatever reason, their acne responded faster to the topical dapsone than women in Fitzpatrick phototypes 4 and 5, so women whose acne tends to heal with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. At the end of the study, everybody responded equally well, but the fair complexion women responded around 2 weeks, whereas the women with Fitzpatrick phototype 4 and 5 started responding around 4 weeks. So what that may mean for you is that if you're not seeing results as early as 2 weeks, and you're somebody whose acne more often than not heals with a dark mark, and you're somebody who rarely ever burns, you're in that 4 or 5 phototype, hang on a little while. That study kind of showed us that there seem to be differences in the biology of acne in those categories of women that we don't yet understand, but gave us a little bit of a clue as to what you might expect when using topical dapsone. So I think that is important to understand and kind of maybe be a little bit more patient with it if you're just starting it and you're not seeing results as quickly as you thought you might. Now, because topical dapsone at 7.5% offers the advantage of being able to be applied only once a day versus twice a day with the 5% strength, you can see how that offers a lot of potential in introducing this into an individual's acne regimen that is individualized to that person's overall burden of acne disease and kind of what their lifestyle is and that sort of thing. So it helps both the patient and the dermatologist come up with a treatment regimen that is going to be user-friendly for the individual and get them the best results. So for you, for example, that might be an oral pill in combination with using this cream once a day. It may be using this cream once a day and using another cream in the evening, or it may be some combination of all three. So you can see how it's going to be tailored to you based on your acne, B, your skin type, C, your lifestyle, the things that are important to you. I can't predict those for everybody. That's something to talk about with your treating dermatologist. But dapsone can be a very helpful additional agent. Other advantages of topical dapsone, it can be used, like I said, with many other different topical ingredients just fine. The exception being it can't be applied at the same time as benzoyl peroxide for reasons that I mentioned about the staining of the skin, but it can be used with topical retinoids, it can be used with other topical antibiotics, and it can be used with another acne cream, azelaic acid. So it's a good player. It plays well with many of the other active ingredients in acne treatments, and it's not problematic. Also can be used with salicylic acid, not a problem. So it's great and can really get you to a next level of improvement depending on who you are. Women more so than men, obviously. Adult women seem to do the best over adolescent women. But it really can be helpful. It also offers the advantage that women seem to appreciate a decreased oiliness. That was reported in many of the studies, that women felt like their overall greasy, like the sensation of feeling greasy, oily, shiny improved, and they were a lot happier with the texture of their skin and the kind of aesthetics of their skin, outside of just kind of some of the objective acne measures like number of inflammatory lesions and number of blackheads and whiteheads. The women in these studies reported, hey, I think my skin looks a lot better, it's less oily, it's less shiny while using the Dapsone. So that's another advantage and another benefit that you might see while using it, and something that you would like about it. It needs to be stopped during pregnancy, but it is otherwise safe. Even though it is a sulfa-derived antibiotic, it seems to be safe in people with allergies to sulfa antibiotics. The oral drug, Dapsone, can have some problems with people with a disease called glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. FYI, if you read that any of the package inserts, and that is you. And if that is you, the topical form seems to be just fine, okay? So not contraindicated if you have glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase in topical form. Only the oral form is a problem. And it should be stopped during pregnancy, but is otherwise safe. While it is an antibiotic, unlike other topical antibiotics, the issue of bacteria developing resistance to it does not seem to be a problem. So our bacterial flora on our skin, some of which contribute to acne, don't seem to develop resistance to this, and it seems to be good in that regard. So less of a concern, whereas as I mentioned last week with topical clindamycin, that is a concern, is that the bacteria on our skin can develop resistance to it over time. So not a concern with Dapsone, seems to be safe to continue using, and very helpful. Only needs to be stopped during pregnancy, and not to be applied at the same time as benzoyl peroxide because of the staining of the skin. So I think it's a great addition to the acne treatments that we have. I see a lot of improvement in women that I've prescribed this to, and they seem happy with it, and it's a useful addition to other acne treatments, so I think it is fantastic. But anyways, guys, I hope this Q&A answered all of your Aczone questions. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. Talk to you guys tomorrow.